Hello everyone, this is Enea here, and in today's tutorial I'll teach you how to create the Penrose Triangle in Inkscape. The Penrose Triangle is an optical illusion figure. It is made of 3 parts, which appear impossible to exist in reality. Alright, so to get started we go to File New and we create a new composition. So first we are going to set up a grid. So we go to File, Document Properties. We go to the Grids tab. And we are going to select Axonometric, which is a grid made of 3 axes, whose intersection create equilateral triangles, meaning triangles with 3 equal angles of 60 degrees. We are going to leave the settings as they are. We are just going to increase the spacing a bit to 10. And then we can close the grid manager. And then we're going to start drawing the triangle. So we take the pen tool and we set a first node along the grid. And then we go downwards by 5 grid divisions and we set another node. And then we go towards the bottom right by 1 grid division. And then we go towards the top left by 5 grid division. And then we go towards the top by 1 grid division. And then we go towards the top left by 5 grid division. And then we close the shape. So now we have created the outer edge of the triangle. Then we go to the Fill and Stroke tab. We set the fill to none. We set the stroke to black. And we are going to set the stroke width to 0.5 millimeter. So we need a thin stroke for this project. And now we are going to create the inner part of the triangle. We take the pen tool again. We set the first node here. And then we go downwards by 4 grid divisions. And then we go towards the top right by 2 grid divisions. And we double click to end the line. And then we're going to duplicate and rotate this line. So we take the selector tool. We press on Ctrl D to duplicate it. We go to the Transform tab. If you don't have it, you can find it here. We go to the Rotate tab. We set the angle to 60 degrees and we click on Apply. And then we flip it both horizontally and vertically. And we position it in a way that it is nested to this corner here. And then we're going to repeat the process. We press on Ctrl D again to duplicate. And we rotate again by 60 degrees. And we flip it both horizontally and vertically. And then we're going to nest it to this angle here. Alright, so now we have all the strokes that we need to create the triangle. So we select all the elements in the composition. We take the Shape Builder tool. We set the action to add. And we leave Replace Objects on. And then we click on all the 3 faces of the triangle. And we click on Accept. So this turns all the faces of the triangle into separate objects. And now we can set a fill color to them. So we go to the Fill and Stroke tab. We select Fill. And we give it a flat color. So the way that we are going to do this is that we are going to set the colors to 3 different shades of the same hue. So this is what is going to give it the volume effect. And this is what creates the optical illusion in the figure. So I'll set the first shape to a light orange. And I will set the second one to a darker shade of orange. And then the third one to an even darker shade of orange. So now we have set the colors. If you want, now we can remove the strokes. So we go to Stroke, and we can remove it. And also we can remove the grid. So we go to File, Document Properties, we go to Grid, and we click on Remove to remove the grid. Alright, so that was it for this tutorial. You learned how to create the Penrose Triangle in Inkscape. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something from it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye!